place for all things natural beauty. So I'm Dorcas, and today we are doing something special. So we are doing a natural beauty question and answer. Question and answer. So before we get into our video, we're going to read from the word of inspiration. Yes, so as we talk about natural beauty today, I'm reminded of First Peter chapter 3, verse 3 to 4. It's a beauty reminder, that which we care for, like it helps us, that beauty shouldn't come from outside, but from within. Yes, so let me just read this verse quickly. Yes, my friends. So that's First Peter chapter 3, verses 3 to 4. The Bible says, your beauty shouldn't come from outward adornment, rather it should be that of the inner self that does not fade, or that is of a quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. So thank you so much, friends. So I'm waiting for you to come in before we get right into our video. So friends, like on Cassia Naturals, I talk about organic or eco-friendly skincare and hair care. So excuse me, the videos that I've been sharing, like the live special question and answers, I'm giving back like to community for achieving 2,000, more than 2,000 plus subscribers. Yes, more than 2,000 plus subscribers. So so today we are going to look at the questions that we might have, your burning questions that we might have, on beauty, skincare, hair care, and DIY products. So whether you you have questions, or maybe you're struggling with hair growth, skincare routine, or DIY products, this is your chance. This is your chance to ask questions, anything. So actually, I'll be answering your questions live and sharing tips and solution to help you grow from head, like to glow from head to toe, my friends, naturally, in a natural way. So friends, I'm just waiting for you. I'm just waiting for you. So like, I don't know, my ring light is giving a reflection behind the screen. Thank you so much, friends, for joining our live today, and I'm happy to have you, my beautiful people. So today I'm going to answer your burning questions. So while I'm waiting for your questions, I've got something special for you. So this is a special segment, my friends, where we share excuse me, holistic natural beauty and skincare routine and DIY if you're somebody who makes your own products at home. So I want you, friends, to post your questions. I want you to post your questions so that I'll answer you, my friends. So just get comfy, grab your notebook if you want, and let's dive right into it. Yes, so before we jump into your questions, let me quickly share a few important tips I always recommend, my friends. The tips that I always recommend for healthy hair and radiant skin. Yes, so first, you need to be consistent. Like for whatever you are doing, my friends, be consistent. Be consistent, my friends. Be consistent. Like consistent is the key. Consistency is the key, my friends. Yes, so if you are new on my channel, you are very welcome, my friend, and I appreciate you for coming, and I'm glad to have you. Yes, I'm glad to have you, my friends. So it's about consistent. Hello, my beautiful people. You're most welcome. So today it's a question and answer. So like before you post your answers, I want to tell you there's things that I want to recommend to you about beauty, skin care routine, and hair care. Of course, you can post your questions while I am talking about the key things that you need to know, and continue watching this video until to the end. So we are talking about consistent. Let those questions come. Post your questions on skincare and hair care as I talk about the things that I recommend, my friends. Then I'll answer you live. So we need consistent. So consistent actually is key to natural beauty routine. And of course, you know, natural beauty takes time. Takes time. However, it's worthy. It's worthy because in the long run, you have beautiful skin, my friends, from natural products. I appreciate you so much for coming, my friends. I appreciate you. So don't mind about that whitish thing that you are seeing there. Like, I don't know how I put my ring light today. Like, that's a reflection, as you can see there. That's a reflection of of my ring light. Yes. So the second thing that we need to talk about, we've talked about consistent. Like, you need to be consistent if you want to see the results, because we are using natural products and they take long. They take long, but they are worthy, my friends. And then the other second thing that you need to do is to balance moisture and protein in your hair care to avoid breakage. So balance up moisture and protein. So when we talk about moisture and protein, we are talking about using a moisturizing deep conditioner in your hair, or if you make your own DIY products, like use aloe vera hydrating teas for your hair. Those are moisturizers, or you can use a deep conditioner or a leave-in conditioner. And don't forget protein. So when we talk about protein, my friends, we are not talking about the proteins from eggs or maybe from avocados, but of course those proteins, they help, except they have bigger molecules such that they can't penetrate the hair. So you balance up moisture and protein. So when I talk about protein, I'm talking about deep conditioners which have real protein treatments, like hydrolyzed wheat protein, silky protein. Those are the proteins that you need to look out for in a product. Yes, my friends. So balance up moisture and protein. I'm sure I've clarified on that. Then the third point that I need you to know is that use simple ingredients. So actually, when you're using simple ingredients, less is more. Less is more. Less is more. Even when you are doing your skincare routine, like, you don't need thousands and thousands of skin tips. Like, less is more, my friends. Less is more. Then the fourth tip that I want to talk about is don't forget to hydrate your skin. Don't forget to hydrate, because you know beauty actually comes from inside. Start from inside. So make sure that you are hydrating your skin. What I mean is that you are using moisturizing products, you are drinking your water. Like, I always give tips on how you can drink much water. So make sure that when you wake up in the morning, you do your devotions, then you take 2 cups of water. You can even add lemon. Like, if you're somebody who will probably maybe have that nausea when you drink water in the morning, so lemon can help you. So make sure that you hydrate, my friends. You hydrate. So beauty, actually, true beauty starts from within. True beauty starts from within. So now that I've talked about those 5 important things that I always recommend, let's now get into our questions. So, all right, I'm ready for your questions. So let's get started. So if you have any questions, my friends, post them in the chat section. Post them and I'll answer you live. Thank you so much, friends, for coming to watch Cassia Naturals, and I'm so glad that you have joined us. So today, this is a special session where you ask questions on skincare and hair care. So I was just explaining some 5 things which I recommend. Probably you joined in late. We talked about hydrating. Like, you need to hydrate your skin. Don't forget that, because beauty actually starts from within. So drink your water. We also talked about consistent. Like, if you are using natural products, they take a long time to show. or to see the results. However, the the results are worthwhile. The results are worthwhile. Yes. So post your questions, my friend. Post your questions. Post your questions. Yes. So, of course, while I'm waiting for your questions as we go in our live, I received some questions about 3 of them, which I'm going to cover. And of course, you are not limited. You can post your questions on skincare, hair care, and DIY products. Or maybe there's something that you'd want to know about your skin, or maybe you are struggling with dark spots or high pigmentation, you have dry skin, oily skin, or maybe your hair is, you have stunted growth despite doing all you can, like you have stunted growth. Or if you're somebody who is struggling with alopecia, you can post questions so that you can be clarified. I appreciate you so much, friends, for coming. So the question that I received, friends, you can post your questions, my friends. Yes, so some of the questions that I received, one, somebody asked, the question is, what's the best natural oil for hair growth? What's the best oil for hair growth? So that's a great question. That's a great question. So friends, you can use oils like castor oil, coconut oil, rosemary oil, olive oil, peppermint oil. Like, these oils are very good. Like, they stimulate growth, hair growth, and they nourish your hair, and they actually nourish your scalp, and they strengthen the hair. So what you need to do is to add a few drops of rosemary into a carrier oil. So when we talk about carrier oil on Cassia Naturals, we are talking about oils like coconut oil, olive oil, jojoba oil, avocado oil, and what other oils, like from sesame oil from India, sesame oil. Like, those oils are actually carrier oils. So you can add oils like rosemary essential oils. So like, essential oils are highly concentrated. They are highly concentrated. So you're not supposed to use essential oils just the way they are. They are concentrated. So you need to add them in your carrier oil. So you can add a few drops in your carrier oil and then massage it in your scalp. Massage in your scalp, like, it promotes blood flow to the scalp, hence promoting hair growth. And when we talk of rosemary, like, I love rosemary because it's actually a rival to minoxidil. So minoxidil, actually, it's an ingredient or a treatment for thinning hair, which is used in a commercial way. So it's compared to rosemary. So rosemary promotes blood flow to the scalp. It stimulates growth, my friends. If you're somebody who is struggling, or maybe you want to know the best oil, so I've just explained about the best oil that you can use and what you can add. Yes, my friends. So you can use whatever oils that you have. You don't need to be limited with the oils that I'm mentioning. So if you have pumpkin oil, you can add a few drops of rosemary essential oil, or lavender, or tea tree oil. So these oils, actually, they stimulate blood flow to the scalp, and they strengthen the hair, and they stimulate growth. I've used all these oils that I'm talking about, friends. Like, I'm not talking from without. These are some of the products or oils that I've used, and they are one of the best oils that I've mentioned. Yes, thank you so much. So friends, don't forget, like, if you have a question, just post it, then I'll answer you live. Then the other question that I have is, how often should I moisturize my hair? How often should I moisturize my hair? So the answer is, it depends on your hair type. It depends on your hair type. But generally, like, moisturizing your hair 1 to 2 times in a week works well. For most natural hair types, like, you need to pay attention to how your hair feels. Like, your hair will always communicate to you. Your hair will always communicate to you. So make sure that you pay attention. So if your hair is dry, like, you feel it, that my hair is dry. So what you need to do is, like, when your hair starts feeling dry or brittle, it's time to hydrate. it's time to hydrate. It's time to use your moisturizers in your hair. So depending on what products you have, you can use aloe vera for moisturizing. You can just put your aloe vera in a spray bottle and spritz your hair, like moisturize your hair. Like aloe vera will strengthen your hair. It has actually anti-inflammatory properties and antibacterial properties such that it will nourish the hair. Your hair will be strengthened. Or you can use moisturizing treatment like the one that you can purchase from your beauty supply stores, as long as they don't have any toxins in them, my friends. So I always teach on how to read your ingredient labels like a pro. So as long as the moisturizer that you are purchasing from your stores has the first best 5 ingredients like water, oils, butters, then that moisturizer is good. It's going to work wonders for your skin. Yes, so pay attention to your hair. Your hair will always communicate, my friends. Your hair will communicate to you, my friends. So subscribe to Cassia Naturals and comment in the chat section below. Then the third question that I have is, can I use DIY skincare products safely at home? Can I use DIY skincare products safely at home? So absolutely, my friends, absolutely, you can use DIY skincare products safely at home. So of course, you need to be cautious when you're using DIY skincare or hair care at home. The other thing that I recommend, if you are making your own DIY at home, make sure that you preserve your products, because you don't want any molds or bacteria to start crawling in your product. So use a preservative and make sure that you store your DIY products like properly. You need to store your DIY products properly, like store them in a cool dark place, and also always do a patch test. Always do a patch test, my friends. If you're trying out any DIY skincare at home or hair, make sure that you do a patch test, because sometimes this is important, to avoid the allergies and reactions. Some people actually they can react to aloe vera. Some people are allergic to shea butter. So make sure that you do a patch test before using your DIY products, and make sure that you store them in a good cool place, my friends. Yes. So the other question that I have, please post your questions. Yes, my friends. So the fourth, I suppose, question is, what are your favorite 3 ingredients DIY hair mask? Yes, hair mask. So of course, friends, I think I always say that the reason why I make my own products is to avoid any toxic ingredients. Beauty shouldn't hurt, because usually companies actually hide between those fancy words like organic, aloe vera, dermatologist tested. So I always encourage that flip your bottle, my friend. Flip your bottle and read your ingredients. So in most cases, like when I go purchasing my products, I would find that maybe in a moisturizer, they're saying it's a vitamin C, and we're looking for vitamin C. On the label, it's displayed vitamin C moisturizer. But when you go to the ingredient label, you'd find that that vitamin C is not even there. It's not even there. So of course I know that there are reputable companies out there which make good products. You can check them out, my friends. You can check them out, like they make good products. One company I can recommend is Lorasana. So Lorasana, actually, they sell their products on Amazon. I've tried their products before and they've been working wonders for my skin, especially if you have sensitive skin. Like, they have good products. I even did a review. I'll link it in the description box below so that you can check them out. So this question on what are the best DIY ingredients for hair? So my favorite, back then when I just started doing my own hair, like I would use avocado. I'll just get a sizable amount of avocado, maybe 1 avocado. So it depends with your hair. If you have thick hair, then probably you need the whole avocado. So you get your avocado, you remove the mash, and then you blend it so that it becomes so smooth. So once you blend it, then I would add honey, and I would add olive oil or coconut oil. So it's one of the best DIY deep conditioners that you can use. The other one, which was my favorite back then, was bananas. Like bananas are very moisturizing, and they'll strengthen the hair. So my friends, you need to mash your bananas, and please go for very ripe bananas, because if you don't go for ripe bananas, like, you have those mashes like hanging all over your hair, and it will be a marathon actually to remove those. So make sure that you blend your bananas. Go for very ripe bananas and mash them with a blender or a spoon. Also can do. And then you need to squeeze it or strain it. You can use a strainer or whatever gadget that you can use, so that all those small particles, they don't get caught up in your hair. And then you can add any oil that you have. So those are some of my favorite DIY that I used to do back then, before I started formulating my own products. So of course there are times when I don't have that time to formulate my products, because it takes time and commitment to make products, like formulation. When it comes to science formulation, like, you need to be precise with the measurements have to be accurate. But there are times when I have a busy schedule, so I just make my DIY, but I rarely do that. Yes, my friends. So of course, these DIY deep conditioners that I'm talking about, like, they can deeply moisturize, and they repair damaged skin and add shine. Like, friends, honey adds shine. Like, if your hair looks dry down, that downness, just apply some honey and make this DIY that I'm talking about. Like, you add honey, you add olive oil, and there's no oil actually that can beat the olive oil when it comes to shine. Like, there's no oil. So apart from an oil, you can use honey. So honey actually makes your hair shine, my friends, and it's so moisturizing. So what you need to do, you apply it in sections. And then you put on a plastic cup or a plastic bag. Then you put in maybe a towel or maybe a t-shirt, an old t-shirt, and then you let it sit for at least 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and then you rinse it with lukewarm water. So thank you so much, friends, for these amazing questions. These are beautiful questions. Yes, so I'll share quickly, before we wrap up here. I'm going to share quick solutions to common hair and skin challenges. Hair and skincare challenges. So I'm waiting for your questions, my friends. Like, if you have any question on skincare or hair care or DIY products, I'm here to answer all your questions. Like, this is a special session for answering all your questions. So if you are dealing with thinning hair, dry scalp, please make sure that you massage your scalp with rosemary or peppermint oil, because rosemary and peppermint oil, they promote blood flow to the scalp, and they stimulate growth. And you can also use a massage brush, or you can use your hands, like use the pads of your hands, not your nails, but the pads of your hands. Then massage it in circular motions, and then let it sit for at least 15 minutes. Sometimes I would leave it on like overnight when my hair was thinning out, like overnight. However, if you don't have that time, you can just leave it in maybe for 15 to 20 minutes. And I would do that actually over the weekend when I don't have much work to do. Like within the course of the week, like we are so busy. We are so busy with work and the like. So I'll always do my deep conditioners. Like I always treat my hair over the weekend when I have time. Over the weekend when I have time. Then if you are experiencing dry skin, a simple oatmeal and honey mask once a week can soothe and hydrate your skin. That is if you're struggling with dry skin, my friends. Oatmeal is very good. Oatmeal and honey mask. Just put it on a face that is cleansed. Let it sit for 1 to 2 minutes and then rinse it so it will hydrate and soothe your dry skin. And if you want to start, making your own products, begin small, my friends. Begin small. Of course, I'm giving back to my community, for supporting Cassia Naturals. Like Cassia Naturals has grown, my friends. Like we are more than 2,000 plus subscribers. So I'm giving back to the community. I'm teaching basic science formulation. So what I always encourage is start small. Start small, my friends. Begin with a small batch. Like for instance, you can do a 50 batch or 100-gram batch. In fact, my friends, by the way, I had shared on how you can make your own aloe and shea butter hair and skin moisturizer with a preservative with just 3 ingredients. I'd use shea butter, aloe vera, vitamin E oil, and the natural preservative. So you can check that video out, or I'll link it in the description box below. So make sure that you begin small, my friends, because you don't want to waste your products. And actually beginning small, it helps you like to have that expertise as you go on, my friends. And you can actually start small. Like maybe making an oil blend with just an oil, or maybe an infused oil with neem. You infuse your coconut oil into neem oil. That is dry leaves of neem oil, and you make your own neem oil. So neem oil actually has antibacterial properties. Like it's good for dandruff. If you're experiencing dandruff, you've just made your own, and dandruff oil. So please begin small, my friends. Begin small. So if you have enjoyed this question and answer, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, so that whenever I upload, you'll be notified. And drop your other questions in the comment, and join the session, or join the session next week or later in the evening. I'm coming back like to do a live video. So I love hearing from you, my friends. And I appreciate you so much for coming. Yes. So let me just check my top fans before we wrap up. Unfortunately, today there are no top fans. So, of course, you know what, friends, when you are a top fan, you can be the first on the leaderboard by showing support. So try sending a live chat or a super chat, my friends. Like this is a good addition for lives by YouTube. Yes, so thank you so much for being part of Cassia Naturals family. So stay glowing, my friends. Stay natural, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now, and God bless you. And please continue smiling, because God loves you so much. So whatever thing you are struggling with, be positive and take it to the Lord in prayer. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you so much. So please come back again for another live and leave your questions. Yes, I'll come back in the late evening. Yes, my friends. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing to Cassia Naturals. Thank you so much for liking Cassia Naturals, where we do organic skincare, where we do Eco-friendly skincare. Hey, okay. Oh, thank you so much, friends. You know, I'm actually a singer. I'm a composer. Yes, so you've just come in late. Thank you so much, my friends, for watching. See you in my next live. Bye bye.